We both saw this coming from a mile
Hi
away.
everybody, I hope everyone's doing well. Well,
We both
today it is
know that
September 4th,
there are bigger
2024, and I'm here
forces
to
at
do
play.
After
I guess
Therapy
it's for the
Talk.
best to feel the worst for a while.
This is going to be
No trust in us like the
hard.
lily of the Nile.
You know, every time I think it's hard, it gets a little harder sometimes. And this is hard. So, in my last big update, I will link it here. In that, I encourage you to see that because it explains about my marriage, it explains about my weigh-in, explains about understanding and really truly understanding the marriage and what it's been and why it's been for 24 years. So this is going to be about my marriage. But that video really talks a little bit more in depth of the understanding of why I've been through what I've been through. And even him, both of us, why we've been through what we've been through as a couple, as a married couple. It just all came clear to me, okay? And because I'm in such a different mindset in terms of fully having in front of me the answers of 24 years and understanding, and also you understand that there has to be change in two people, okay? Two people. But I also understand the core of the main issue of the marriage does fall more heavily on him. What's happening now is truly is it's more like a little bit of a shock that's happening. So in therapy today, I told her that I had a very bad weekend, but not, I mean, it was bad in terms of like some like hitting hard moments. But before I get to that, I do want to say that I'll put a link here to another after therapy talk that came after the update. And in that after therapy talk, we talked more about, continue to talk about the points of understanding the marriage, like, you know, having a clearer understanding of what it's going to take to create, you know, coming back together. You know, it's that. But I can only do my half, right? And that's kind of what we talked about. However, there's dreams and hopes and all these things that I have that I want. But what's happening is that I'm realizing that I can't make it happen. And this past weekend, it sort of, I was in a state of a little bit of a shock with those realities and those understandings. So with all that comes there, then where you sort of look at the situation and go, okay, we're not moving in the same direction. We're not. And it hit me this weekend. Like yeah. And so because it hit me, then came that whole realization of, is this really over? Is it? Because I'm not going back. I've known that. When I separated in March, because of what happened in March, I knew that I wasn't going to go back to what I've lived with. Even though I didn't understand it then, I just knew that. Coming now, understanding everything, I still know that. I still know that I'm not going back. But with both of us seeing it clearly, then you can do something, right? But you see, I see that we're not moving forward together. And so this weekend, it was that. It was that shock. And then came, it was a shock like, okay, oh, what does my future look like? What does my life look like? I've known this for 26 years, 24 of that married. And the reality is, you know, The finances, that's a thing. And by the way, I took over the finances this past weekend. I took it all over. I got to, we sat together for, I think it was like maybe 2.5 hours, if not longer. He brought out all the bills. He brought out all the accounts, where we pay what day we pay. I put it all in my planner. This goes out this day. This goes out this day. I have it all written now. I have them all here with me, and I took over. And when you see things in that way, you understand things. And so there's just a lot of shock this weekend. And also, like I said, the main thing is this really over? Because there's nothing more for me to do. I can only do so much. So I talked to her in therapy about it, and she says, Laura, what you're expressing is grief. Grief comes in stages. And I wrote them down. She said shock, bargaining, sadness, depression, anger, and then acceptance. And depression and anger can be interchangeable at times. Shock, it could be, and it doesn't have to be grieving of somebody in terms of physical, like, someone is no longer with us, but a marriage. She goes, even a pet, whatever it is, loss and grieving go through these stages and processes. Some people get through them a lot quicker, depending on the situation. Because I told her I was very depressed and angry at the same time. And she says, you're grieving. But what does that mean? If I'm grieving, I have to be grieving the loss. And I go, is it over? And she says, I can't answer that. But you're getting the information in front of you, and you know what you see. And she understands exactly, she's a therapist. She understands his dynamics, and she understands mine, Even without seeing him, she understands. And that's the adjustment period that she was talking to me today in therapy, was when it comes to grieving, there's so many adjustment phases. And I almost didn't want to hear that, One good thing about my therapist is she lets me see things that she sees in me that I don't see in myself. And she goes, not yet. But she really is good about expressing those things to me, to remind myself how strong I really am. She ran through my childhood. She ran through different parts of my life where I have been pretty strong and come out the other side, Like she says, have you done all the things you've wanted to do in your life and goals? Okay, no. But by that doesn't determine your strength in your whole life, Laura. But I'm telling you, this is normal to go through this to get to the other side, and you are, because you have on so many things. And she says, and you have a strong faith base, and I need, lean on that. So, yeah, that's what it was about today. So I was left sort of, am I grieving? My sister-in-law, who I talked to this weekend, she says, you're grieving, Laura. You're grieving. Am I really? Because when you grieve, isn't it because you lost something? Do I know? Do I really know? Maybe I'm just not ready to say it out loud. Or I don't know. But anyway, the thing about my therapist said, I do have some homework, and and by the way, this particular assignment that she wants me to do is very, like she says, I want you to do this. At some point before next Wednesday, I want you to submit it to me. Okay. I want to see it. Okay. And I said, okay. So I do have some things that, because I don't, part of what I feel, I guess, is that I don't even still trust my own feelings. And so she wants me to do some noting of some things. So I'm going to be doing that. And one of the things that she said is to me is all the things that she sees in me, and that I may not see these things, and that's okay about me, but I will be here, and you're going to see yourself grow. Because what she told me, she goes, as your therapist, it's good to be in these phases and you allow these processes. She says, but when you're stuck in them, that's when it becomes a problem. I don't see that you're stuck in them because I see you recognizing things. And that means you're aware. And if you're aware, you don't stay stuck. You allow yourself to go through it. But it's if you stay stuck in there, me as your therapist, we're going to have to work through that. I said, okay. But I told her, I just, I can't believe that we're there. She goes, because you're still in shock. There's shock. Anyways, guys, that's it. There's really not much to say. I'll try to come back before next Wednesday. I'm just allowing myself to feel these feelings. You have to come to terms now with these possibilities, these, do I really know that? Do I know these things? Do I know it and I'm just still holding on to something, or am I just in shock, I'll tell you one thing she said, Laura. She goes, let me ask you something. Aside from these things, she says, think about this. Are you better off today than you've been a week from now, a month, in March? Are you better off today? And I said, yeah. Oh, yeah. She said, you are aware. You are aware. So that's it, guys. That's it. That's really all I know right now. So I will try to come back, hopefully maybe this weekend. I'll try. Okay. We'll see. But I will talk to you all very, very soon. Take care. And I'm glad I have that homework assignment because it's going to really help me think and put things in my own mind into perspective. And I think I need that. I think she knows that I needed that. Anyways, my friends, take care of yourselves. All right, back. I just went and got my son from school, and I was sitting at the parking area. It's a new parking spot that I found to pick him up. There's only a handful of parents that sit there in this particular park. It's like it's not a park and ride. It's not that, but it's a parking lot, but it kind of has to do with like park services and stuff. But anyway, we use it to pick up our kids there. And there's a lot of trees and shaded areas. So I was sitting there thinking about my therapy session and contemplating what I posed, the question I posed. Is it over? And I was thinking about that, and am I holding on to any kind of hope? Is would it really feeling or grieving, just taking all in what my therapist said, even what my I don't know if I mentioned my sister-in-law, she even said that, you're grieving, you're going through a process of grieving. That's what it sounds like to me, And so we talked and I cried. So I was there contemplating this, and I don't know if I said this in the video, but one of the things my therapist asked me at the end of our session is, she says, I want to ask you a question. And she said, let me ask you, she says, and I really want you to think about this answer, okay? And I said, okay. Are you better off today than you were yesterday, day before yesterday? Are you better off right now today? I didn't even have to think about it. I said, yes, I am. One thing is for sure, and that is that I'm not going back to what I've had for 24 years. So that I do know. That is a given. That is a given. So in one of those scenarios, it's letting go, or we're working together, towards the same goal, towards the same aim. But right now, that's just not it. I could see it. I could see it. I could see it. I've known him for 24 years in a marital. You know what is the same, what is constant. I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing that. And because you understand everything and you understand where this is going, this is why I was sort of in bad shape this past weekend. But yeah, inevitably she asked me that question. Are you better off today than you were yesterday in March? And absolutely, I am. I am. So what she's saying is you're on the right path. So anyways, that's it. I just wanted to come back and say that because I was pondering. I was alone. I was by myself. I was there, and it was hot as all heck. I think we're going to see 107 tomorrow. It's like 104 today. Hot, and I didn't have the car on. It was a little bit of a breeze underneath the tree, so and I didn't get there like uber early because I'm parking in this new place, so I can go just a little bit before he gets out, and it's going to be fine. I'm not rushing to find parking is what I'm saying. So anyways, it just lended for me to be able to just ponder my therapy session, ponder that question, So I'm actually eager to work on my exercise and submit what she wanted me to do because it allows me to sit there and really think about things. The other thing really, really quickly, and I forgot to mention this, I'm glad I did this part, is the grieving that is also been coming up a lot is the grief of the losing, the loss of my mom and the loss of my brother due to C19. Those are things that are coming up a lot within the way I feel right now. She says I think it's a very natural thing that you're piggybacking on all these losses in such a short time, and you've never been able to fully deal with them because you've been so busy dealing with such a heavy issue. That was another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I forgot. I was sitting under the tree talking about that, remembering that conversation with my therapist. So anyway, that's it, you guys. I just wanted to add this because I didn't want to forget to tell you. So yeah, the question, am I better off today? Yes. In what way? I think because you understand. I'm not lost. I'm not walking around here going, what's wrong with this, figuring out ways to fix this, figuring out ways to, it was never really, really fully under my control, if you know what I mean. So letting go, acceptance, to get to acceptance and letting go, or whatever this is that I'm going through, it's a process. And I'm just going to let the process be for now. There's no, I can go through this for a little bit. All right, my friends, I think I'm just going in circles here. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. I do hope you guys are all doing well.
To find ourselves again. Oh, it's time to go from lovers back to friends.